So let's jump into the match. Last match of the night. We've got Yan against aZapatos. I'm excited for this one. aZapatos has a very unique style of 1v1. It's the first time I've casted him in ones myself. I've been trying to get a match with him for a while now, but it's quite difficult to get him because he is West Coast, and he also has scrims, school, a bunch of other stuff that just makes it difficult for us to sync up during the week. And then weekends I've been doing view parties or working RLCS. So yeah, been trying to get him on the stream for a while now, but our schedules just haven't matched. But now here he is against Yan, one of the best in the world, trying to make a case for the best in the world with every passing day. aZapatos currently sitting, I think, rank 8 in the world for 1v1. In NA, that puts him, I think, 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, behind Yan and Card, who are taking the top 2 spots at 1st and 5th overall. So yeah, aZapatos clearly in form. He's on his grind, and he is such an entertaining player to watch. I've seen plenty of him playing Ones. I was most interested in seeing him play at the Ones LAN Turf Wars, which is run by Rizzo and JamesBot. There, he, I think, finished 4th overall. He lost out in the 3rd place match, I think it was, to Raze Bull, who's another, obviously, very, very high level player that we just saw on stream recently. By recently, I mean just right before we went live with this. aZapatos is up there. He's up there with the best in NA right now. And here he is against Yan, who's just double reset bumped him in the 1st minute. just Yan things, just, you know, going for multiple clips every single game, as you do. They're trying to go over the clean sweep for South America today. Like, I want to point out, by the way, earlier on people were saying maybe Yan's on Card's PC for Card's matchup with Card dominated GOM. But can you guys already see just how volatile, how chaotic Yan's movements are? Camera movements, his recoveries, the way that he throws himself around the field. He is such an explosive player. And then you compare that to Card that we saw earlier. He is a much more controlled player, very precise. They to me look nothing alike, even though they're both scoring ridiculously mechanical plays on their opponents and playing. I mean, Card played perfectly. He really was just flawless in his match against GOM. And so far, Yan has been extremely impressive out the gate as well. But that's for me the clear difference between the two. How you can just tell without even having to look at a nameplate which one it is that you're on POV with. Like, aZapatos punches one through. We've already seen a bunch of his wave dash recovery kickoffs. That's something he's extremely well known for. He's very, very consistent with those. Now, I've not actually seen Yan delay too many of his own kickoffs. His kickoff has been very good recently as well. Great bump by aZapatos. He went high up for that one, and the shot did dip under the bar. But the last time that we had Yan against a player who's known for exceptionally good kickoffs was Yan versus KV1. KV1 is someone who just goes for standard kickoffs most of the time and wins such a high majority of them that he doesn't need to switch it up, but Yan dominated him. So clearly Yan's got a world-class standard kickoff, and he might just stick to that and trust it to be good enough even against aZapatos, who's got such an efficient and such an effective recovery off of his flip reset, not flip reset, sorry, his wave dash kickoff. But I'm going to be very curious to see, because if Yan does want to mess with aZapatos, wave dash recovery kickoff, the way to do it is by not entirely faking, but by delaying your hit into the ball. Kind of means that when the other player jumps into the ball to hopefully bounce off it and wave dash, they actually end up just passing the ball into you. So yeah, definitely going to look out for that one as we go through the match today. Also, sorry for doing this, because I know that most of the people watching probably haven't noticed, but yes, I have seen. Maybe I shouldn't be specific. Yes, I have seen the mistake in the overlay. I'm aware of it. I'm going to try and get it fixed for next stream. Can't do anything about it right now. My apologies. aZapatos has got a lead here. Yan playing extremely aggressively there. That was a big mistake. Underestimated just what aZapatos is capable of in the back corner there. So, okay, there's evidence that Yan doesn't need to switch it up, really. He can, go toe-to-toe with aZapatos wave dash recovery kickoff by just being extremely, extremely precise and extremely strong with his standard kickoff. But you know, lots of players who have run into Zapatos in ranked or played against him in tournaments have said that this is just unplayable to go up against his kickoff. It's just too good because he gets that wave dash and you don't have one, so he's just got a burst of speed and everything else is equal. You know, of course that's going to be an advantage for him, but you know, some players find it really difficult to go up against Yan. So far, hasn't seemed to have too many issues. He has misplayed there though, didn't get much of a clear on his own save. Azapatos up by 1 goal again. He's sticking to it, just going for those wave dashes. If this is something you want to improve in your own game, if you're somebody who's just learning how to wave dash, or if you're somebody who's still improving your wave dash consistency, the best piece of advice I've got for you is don't rush the flip. Most players who mess up a wave dash, they do it because they flip too early before. I mean, if you're wave dashing forwards, oh, that was actually sick. I have to watch this again. Look at this recovery from Azapatos off the goal explosion. He's not got a flip here. Now he does. Did you guys see that? Little landing dash. Very, very cool. Oh, thank you, Jame. I'll see if I can add that one in between matches. Might not be able to, depending how fast these guys are readying up. But yeah, definitely good to have for next time. If not today. Look at Azapatos moving in the back corner. He's again baited Yan in and hit him on the counter attack. Yan's going to need to be careful here because he is overextended multiple times in the back corner. And Azapatos has not been bothered by Yan's presence in the corner. He's not been panicking at all. He's not been rushing his touches. He's just getting goal side and consistently advancing. Almost breaks the bar with that flick. Azapatos could have been up by 2. Very consistent, even with the, I think, harder to control hitbox that Sensio gives you. Is it a Dominus hitbox? I think it is, right? I think it's a Dominus hitbox. So obviously much harder to control flicks, much harder to ball carry, but nothing that Azapatos can't handle. Oh, it's a plank. Okay, it's the plank hitbox. Interesting. He's very good at it. I mean, clearly has a ton of practice with it, and the advantage of playing something like this is, oh no, oh, Azapatos, he's not going to be too happy with that, but the advantage of playing a hitbox or a car that is less popular, I mean, even the Dominus has a similar advantage in 1v1 Batmobile as well, because they're kind of rare these days, is that you get a ton more practice playing it than anyone that you go against has practice playing against it. I'm not sure if you guys have been keeping an eye on this. It almost looks deliberate. It's happened so many times. I'm starting to think that this might just be something Yan is calculating. He's putting himself in positions after the kickoffs happen where Azapatos has to bump him with his wave dash. Yan is actually in front of Azapatos regularly, like right here. And in order for Azapatos to wave dash, he's actually forced to bump Yan into the ball, which is kind of crazy because the advantage of the wave dash recovery kickoff is that you do get a boost of speed that your opponent doesn't get, but Yan is actually getting that boost of speed by just putting himself in front of Azapatos every single time. And Azapatos wants to wave dash, has to wave dash into Yan. It's happened, I think, 4 or 5 times this game. So clearly, like, that doesn't happen by mistake. I think Yan is doing this on purpose, and that is a huge, huge brain maneuver. And honestly, it's a counter strategy that I've not seen a lot of. I've seen it happen here and there. You know, sometimes a wave dash recovery kickoff player is forced to bump their opponent into the ball, but it just looks situational. But it happens so many times in that game that I'm starting to think Yan might just be doing this on purpose. He might just be manipulating this one in his favor. Let's take a look at how he gets on in this game. Yeah, you can see that he's clearly steering in front of Azapatos there. I think he is. That's such genius by Yan. Yeah, I've seen people many times be afraid to do that because they don't want to be bumped, but I guess Yan just knows that Azapatos won't be supersonic unless it's a very, very rare scenario. He won't be supersonic with this, so as long as he just gets in front of him and he's ready to recover out of the bump with a jump or a dodge, then he should be just fine. I mean, he's just trusting his reaction time, trusting his recovery mechanics to get him out of an awkward situation. Azapatos now. Couple of wave dashes in the dribble. He actually rocks back and forward, side to side. Looking for the wave dash there. Getting little bits of bursts of speed at surprising angles. And he doubles up in game number 2 with a demo as Yan is looking to land. Yeah, watch Yan once again. I mean, he's done this so many times. Okay, we're not going to get it this time. aZapatos still liking to switch up the kickoff strat as well. You know, something I love to see. Oh, great shot from Yan. He's completely caught aZapatos by surprise with that one. aZapatos is expecting Yan to try and go for an air dribble bump here. He just charged forward. Actually flew very, very high. I think he might have been reading a double tap, actually, based on the fact that he jumped so high there. That one shot is going to now force aZapatos to just be a little bit careful anytime that he's thinking about pre-jumping a Yan air dribble. He's going to need to remember, hold on a second, what if Yan is just shooting? Great little pre-flip there. Yan also, you know, when he's not able to get in front of aZapatos and force the wave dash to propel him forwards, he has a couple of times used a pre-flip to close the distance. So, you know, he's not too bothered, it seems, by that advantage that aZapatos has in these engagements. aZapatos has a wave dash to accelerate. Yan doesn't. Well, Yan's just getting acceleration from other means, whether it be a pre-flip, whether it be putting himself intentionally in line of a bump. It's a great 50 by Yan as well. He just stayed on the ball, even though he didn't have any boost, just didn't want to leave it. I've got to tell you guys, I'm extremely impressed so far with how aZapatos has played this. Really taking it to Yan here. And he's got a tie game with a little reset mind game of his own. I mean, he's got the aerial mechanics on form right now. His ground games look terrifying with the big flicks that are always possible. If you can contain the power of the car. Look, definitely an example there of Yan trying to hit the brakes and park up in front of aZapatos. This time, he did get pit maneuvered, so it's not going to work out consistently. Well, when I say it's not going to work out consistently, it's not going to be the same every time, certainly, when you're just deliberately getting bumped. That's probably one of the most dangerous things you can do in Rocket League. Yan is just shrugging off every single one of them without too many issues and powers in his 4th goal of the game at the far post. aZapatos just not getting enough of a clear on that one. Wanted to hit it over the top of Yan, but he just dropped down in front of him. aZapatos actually trying to wave dash away from Yan there. He's so sick of bumping him into the boost. He's thinking, right, I've got to wave dash somewhere else. And in doing so, actually didn't get the wave dash to stick. I love the aggression from aZapatos, though. This is what you need to do against mechanical players like Yan. You cannot concede the midfield. You cannot let them know that you are just afraid of a long shot. Have to keep pressure on the ball. And well, he's managed to get Yan to bail out of another aerial attack, but at the tail end of it, Yan's got a 30 boost advantage, 43-13. He's able to keep the ball alive expertly off the back corner. The reset triple tap denied by aZapatos, who loses his back corner boost for the trouble. Look at these little landing dashes. That's incredible that he can do that so consistently. Just using the long car hitbox, the almost instability of this car to his advantage, and he ties the game. That is brilliant from aZapatos. He tried to, I think, fake Yan into doing that exact play as well. I mean, the reason Yan chipped the ball up on the wall there is because it looked like aZapatos might be coming towards him. He's trying to play it around him. aZapatos just moved up onto the wall and used it as a scoring opportunity. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember when the Batmobile, not long after it first came out, there was a lot of, I think there was a lot of talk about this landing instability that seemed to be unique to the Batmobile. I think it was on Reddit, maybe it was Rocket League, I think it was before Rocket League Esports Reddit, it was just on the normal Rocket League Reddit. Somebody made a comparison of just when you double jump rather, in the Octane versus when you double jump in the Batmobile, and the Batmobile would consistently rock to the side on every single landing. And I think that got fixed in some way. I think it got minimized at least. It was not landing flat. It was actually landing slightly sideways, even if you double jump vertically. Unless, of course, it was just a controller issue. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of talk about this. And even though that seems to have been fixed long term, the thing that does remain is that the longer cars, like the Dominus of Batmobile, the Sentio, they do tend to wobble a little bit more when you land compared to the shorter cars like the Octane. So that actually has the advantage of making it a little bit easier, I think, to do those little wave dashes that aZapatos is so consistently doing. He even did another one there. Like, any time that he's landing and he realizes that one of the corners of his car is going to slightly rock up into the air and briefly have a wheel off the ground, he just uses that to snap the wheel back down onto the ground with a wave dash and get some free speed. It's fascinating to see. I mean, when wave dashes first became a thing in Rocket League, believe it or not, and this is, you know, maybe going to blow the minds of all of you newer viewers who have maybe only picked up Rocket League in the past 2 or 3 years, when wave dashes first came out, when they were first discovered in the game, the debate was not where they would be used, it was whether or not they would be at all useful. So, you know, during RLCS Season 1, the debate wasn't, oh, are wave dashes good here? Are they good there? The debate was, will wave dashes ever be viable in any situation, not just in multiple? So the fact now that we see wave dashes in not just pro play, but like in, I think even as low as diamond and plat ranked games, people will wave dash in the recoveries. That kind of shows you that these kind of moves that we're seeing right now from aZapatos, very, very situational and very rare to see from pros. They're probably just going to be something that everyone will do. So maybe fast forward a year from now, everybody's going to be doing these little wave dashes. I think everybody should be paying attention to what aZapatos is doing, because he's the most consistent player that I've seen with those little landing dashes. Not sure what the technical names that everybody's decided to go for. But yeah, you can only get them off landings, the ones that he's doing. There's of course the little, I think halfway dead, coined it a curve dash. When you're coming off a curve, the front end of your car can lift up briefly, and you can use that to get a wave dash as well. So that's already kind of got a curve dash, but a landing dash is another one. It is called a landing wave dash. Alright, good to know. Okay, we'll call a 1-goal game. Thought I'd just let you guys know a bit of the backstory about wave dashes while we were on the topic here, because it is, I think, to me, so interesting to see the development of a mechanic like this. But while all that is happening, aZapatos has managed to pull himself into a 1-goal advantage, and he's not going to leave the ball here. Yan would love for aZapatos to just leave the ball and give him a free air dribble. aZapatos not going to do that. Instead, he's the one who's threatening a goal in the closing seconds. Yan trying to catch it. He wanted to be underneath aZapatos on that one. aZapatos managed to guide it into the ground. We've got a game, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a series. I mean, game 1 was close, but there's always a danger when Yan's on the pitch that you could just run away with it and start to dominate, but aZapatos not going to let him have it. He is a monster, an absolute monster in North American ones right now. Such a unique style, but he doesn't rely on that style to carry him. I think it's just part of why he's a good player. Clearly, you know, same way that I said about Card earlier on, Razebull, all these guys who are newer to ones, they're just solid. You know, they know how to pressure, they know how to survive on low boost. They know all of the little tricks that you need in order to play ones at a high level. So definitely far from a one-trick pony here. But you know, the 1 or 2 tricks that he does have are so unique and so difficult to stop that everybody's going to want to have them in their offensive arsenal in the future. Not even offensive, just movement. Your movement arsenal. Maneuvering. aZapatos kickoffs are a nightmare. Yeah, Card is starting to... Or no, Card, sorry. Yan. I'm getting Card and Yan mixed up. Yan is starting to have a bit more trouble with them. Actually, in game 1, he came out and handled him pretty well. But the longer that he's been going, I think aZapatos has started to get a better read on Yan's kickoff, and he's starting to beat him to the punch a little bit. And, you know, we did see a lot of game 1 kickoffs resulting in Yan getting bumped, like I mentioned, towards the boost. So now aZapatos, I think, has managed to figure out a way to make sure that he doesn't land right behind Yan, and that means he's able to use that burst of speed to give him the win on the race to the ball. Great spot there from Yan. aZapatos in his constant quest to pressure the ball and to deny Yan any opportunities to air dribble from the midfield. Caught off his line, not for the first time, but still, he's got to do that. He knows that if he lets Yan have a free air dribble, free sets up from the sidewall with 100 boost, he's in big trouble. So he's not going to let it happen for free. It's a fantastic landing from Yan. Looks to transition around the corner with a couple of wall dashes there. He's got aZapatos in an awkward spot, but I think Yan knows better than to just charge in on that. Nice pressure, just presence near the ball here from Yan. allowing him to force the misplay at aZapatos. Yeah, aZapatos did a great job disguising his boost total there. I think Yan knew, though. Yan knew better than to just lunge in and assume that his opponent is in 0 boost, because aZapatos was trying to act like somebody with 0 boost, but usually when a pro player or high level 1s player is looking like they got 0 boost, it's all an act, and they in fact have a little in the tank, and it's when they're acting like they've got a boost that they actually don't. 2-2. After a couple of one-sided matchups earlier on today, we're getting the closest of the night at the very end of the night. aZapatos there, able to get the boost seal as he forces Yan into the corner, but Yan also unable to collect it. Some nice goal line positioning. Guarantees that Yan won't own goal there. He needed to just stay on the right side of the line. Always something you've got to be careful of when you're sitting near your goal line. If you realize the ball's about to hit the bar, make sure you're not slightly off the goal line, because it could just drop down on your head and bounce over the line. Yeah, it's a very special time to be a ones fan. So many styles and so many viable plays. It's just fascinating. Like, every aspect of the game is evolving so quickly. Like, ones truly is the Rocket League, strategical game. It really is just the chess of Rocket League. So many different strategies. aZapatos, a nasty approach. Oh, well played. He was threatening a monstrous shot the entire dribble here. Just a small bounce dribble is all you need, but Yan knows that could be a rip of a shot at any moment. And aZapatos managed to slot it in the far post after cutting in field. If Yan does it, I don't think he knows. Either he doesn't know or he just doesn't feel like it's that bad of a situation that he's in with the kickoffs. But yeah, we talked about this on my channel plenty of times, that the best counter to the wave dash recovery kickoff, I said it earlier, is just slightly delayed kickoffs. They really mess with the wave dash recovery kickoff. In fact, I saw Lionblaze using those to great effect against aZapatos himself in the Turf Wars 1v1 tournament. aZapatos was having loads of success with his wave dash recovery kickoff, and then Lionblaze just started. Oh my days, what a save. Jan's kind of hit that at him, but still well played to save it. Yeah, Lionblaze, he started to delay his kickoff, and it made aZapatos switch up his strat. So yeah, that's something that Yan can do. He could still go to that if he knows about it. I think he probably does know about that, but it doesn't look dire. Yeah, he's faked on here just to get into midfield play, and I've left the party. Not sure why that's happened, but it shouldn't matter. aZapatos manages to predict exactly when Yan is shooting here. Oh, that's efficient. That's clinical from aZapatos. Quick up in the air to get the shot off. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys watching are probably thinking, oh, why is Johnny saying this? I've heard him say this thing about kickoff so many times, but you've got to remember that we're still very early on in the understanding. Like, the level of understanding of most Rocket League viewers is still very, very basic when it comes to kickoffs, so I've got to keep saying it. Otherwise, someone who just tunes into the channel for the first time or tunes in every now and then won't know. And yeah, when you've got somebody like aZapatos in the field, it is a big talking point, because whether or not the opponent can contain him with his very consistent kickoff strategy, it is a huge part of the game. So yeah, I've got to talk about it. So yeah, sorry if you get bored of hearing me do it all the time, but there's probably a viewer that hasn't heard it before, so I try and say it for them. You'll probably notice similar things in RLCS commentary as well. We'll explain very, very basic things sometimes, because the hardcore fans all know it, but there are always new viewers. Every single day, on my YouTube, there will be a viewer who's never watched my channel before tuning in, thinking, what is this? Kickoff. I've never seen that in Rocket League. What is going on there? So at least saying what it is by name is a start, and that's why consistently naming things is important, so people can new viewers can understand what is going on. Yeah, simple and advanced concepts need to be talked about every now and then. Lovely little delay there from Yan on the air dribble. This didn't go full on with the boost. until he saw aZapatos starting, and then he just went as hard into the ball as he could. That will confirm the game win. So Yan just doing enough. He's got the necessary switch ups, and you know, that's the biggest takeaway for pretty much every single player that's having problems with the kickoff game, is do something different. Don't do the same losing strategy again and again and again. It is a quick way to lose by even more goals. But yeah, this game for aZapatos was definitely the most wayward from his POV. I think Yan did play it very well, but aZapatos certainly fell off slightly here. Yeah, aZapatos in that game, he definitely struggled a bit more than the other games to keep up with Yan. I think, you know, a couple times this game, there's one shot I remember, or one failed challenge I remember, aZapatos near the ceiling just didn't make contact. There's the play that he lost control of in the midfield where he had about 50 boosts and he just lost control of the ball. Yan scored, and towards the end of the game there, again, game's already over, so it might not matter as much, but aZapatos missing on a challenge completely. You know, he's got to make sure to consistently hit the ball in his challenges. He's got to at least get a piece of it, because if he's missing completely, Yan will be ready for the shot. I've never seen a play where, you know, where Yan just turns away before fully seeing if the opponent hit the ball or not. He always puts himself in positions where he can capitalize if mistakes come through. So you can't make mistakes like that. You can't just miss. Saying sorry here. Well, let's get into game number 4. aZapatos so far has really impressed me, at least, with his level of play, being able to match up well with one of the best in the world. But now that Yan understands what he's up against completely, I'm not sure if he, you know, had a perfect idea of what he was up against at the start of today. Oh, it's things like this. aZapatos, you can't be doing this. You can't. He's maybe going to get it to work, but you cannot fly up in the air. No, it's not going to work. Yeah, you can't fly up and miss. It's a bit too speculative. This is where it's all going wrong for aZapatos here, where he's committing completely and not actually contacting the ball. Yeah, overall, I'm still very impressed with his level. I think he's a super exciting player. Yan tried to lunge in the way of aZapatos there. Actually got messed up by the bump. That's interesting. So, completely change up from game number 1, where Yan was able to put himself in front of aZapatos and then recover after getting wave dashed into. This time he actually tried to flip into aZapatos and didn't work out at all. I think, yeah, okay, that's what he was trying to do. What he did here is what he was trying to do in the last kickoff. He's trying to be the guy bumping aZapatos, but it's very dangerous to bump a player who's about to wave dash and flip, because they've got 2 bursts of speed and you've only got 1, so you're sometimes going to take more of a hit than you can give. That's a fantastic turn by Yan there. Able to get a clean beat once again. I mean, he's just cleanly beaten aZapatos to the ball for both of his goals. Can aZapatos do some damage with his own wall play? Yan charges in. Saw aZapatos setting up a little bit more slowly, and he was able to close the distance. aZapatos is very good at just snapping those shots on target. And that's forced Yan out of position here. Pre-flip from aZapatos into the air dribble, and the 50-50 crosses the line. Great mind games by aZapatos in the setup here. Yan had 100 boosts to work with, but aZapatos air dribble into the reset forced Yan to jump a little bit too high. Yan plays like he has unlimited boosts and no opponent. Yeah, pretty much. That's just what he does. Just zooms around the field doing whatever he wants. And not many players can stop him. Double tap from Yan. It's good. Phenomenal technique from this one. He's completely confident that he's hitting it, because that is not a technique that's going to have a recovery. At least a really fast one, unless the ball goes in to launch you into the ceiling. He was landing on the back wall with the back end of his car there. Look at Yan again, just slowing down aZapatos. Just putting himself right in front of the wave dash. And he decides to leave the back corner boost after missing it the first time. Didn't want to turn around and go for it again. aZapatos threatening an immediate shot. It's not going to work out. He does get Yan on the landing though. Yan not making the mistake of jumping at any point there. Just took the bumps and waited patiently for a moment that he could counter them by flipping. Oh, look at the placement. aZapatos has backflipped the ball into the top corner here. In a very close quarters engagement. No boost for aZapatos in this. No boost for Yan. Yan trying to get the nose of his car out as far as he could there to get a touch on it. aZapatos has chipped it over him, and now he's tripped Yan on the landing, so he's going to have a free ball. Yan's vacated the area. aZapatos went for a bigger touch than he got. He didn't have a good reaction to the mistouch there. Now here comes Yan off the ceiling. aZapatos in the area. Tries to pre-flip to get the counter-attack started. He's got the bottom left looking at him, but he doesn't have a goal. He rotates out for the boost steal. aZapatos fails to connect with the big flick setup. I mean, he's definitely threatening in these positions, but the consistency's dropping off a little bit. Still, tie game, and the reset's good. That's what we've been waiting for from aZapatos. He needed to connect with one of these big plays. He can't be just letting shots and chances go wayward against Yan. And he absolutely nailed that one. No doubt at all. He didn't give Yan a chance. aZapatos trying to surprise Yan with a challenge in an unconventional position there, but Yan was ready for it. I think that might just be a bit too risky. You know, I always say that it's good to try and challenge when your opponent is expecting you to be faking. The back corner is one of the most likely places to be faking a challenge or to be playing the ball or playing for the boost or a demo instead of the ball. So it's definitely surprising, but I think that might have been a bit too risky. Yan had full control. Speaking of surprising challenges, Yan completely catches aZapatos by surprise with a reverse challenge after the fake kickoff goes his way. aZapatos down by 1. Ball control is his though. Yan has given him a ton of space to work with here. aZapatos went for the backboard. Yan was able to close the door on that one pretty easily. Look at that little burst of speed there from aZapatos. No doubt Yan would have noticed that, and he's thinking, what on earth is this? How is he doing that so consistently? So it really is a joy to watch aZapatos innovate and push the wave dash meta forward. And, you know, for all of his tricks, for all of his surprises, he has been outdone once again. He went for a big block high, but Yan forced it under him. 2-goal difference now. What can aZapatos do? Will he be able to get the ball? Yes, he will. Kickoff goes in his favour. He kind of has to go in field with this one. It didn't sit up nicely for a wall play. Unfortunately for aZapatos, Yan has easily saved it and slaps in the counter-attack for 7-4. aZapatos just needed a bit of a better flick there. He's got to at least force Yan to have a compromised landing for that to be viable. It just wasn't quite good enough. Still, minute to work with. aZapatos going to go for this one. Bumps Yan out of position. Yan is the one who's wave dashing the landing now. Can aZapatos score though? Is very direct in the approach, and you know, it can work out with longer cars. You don't need as much of an angle to really rip those flicks on target. aZapatos' consistency has just not quite been Yan level. Yan's going to be out of the game here though. aZapatos keeping the aggression going, keeps the chances coming. And, he really had to there, not just play for the ball, but keep his car away from danger as well. Yan probably supersonic as he hit the ball there, so very important that aZapatos dodged away and got his car to safety as well. Something a bit careless from aZapatos not to expect Yan to play the ball there in the final 30 seconds. You've got to expect that Yan is going to play any ball after a kickoff that he can get to. Chain dashes, wall shot, and not quite a goal for Yan. But the boost steal is good. aZapatos just trying to get going. He went for that landing dash into a flip, but it just wasn't quite enough, and now he knows it's over. He gives Yan the open net on 0 seconds. And he rebounds it in for him. It's actually going to be a 1-second goal. GG's. aZapatos, debut 1v1 show match on my channel. Definitely a success in my books. I think that was incredibly impressive against one of the absolute best players in the world. Well, just flat out best players in the world, Yan is these days, but definitely for 1v1 as well. Completely up there. So for aZapatos, in his debut 1 show match on my channel to play like he did today, that's Very respectable. Yan actually says best of 7 here. aZapatos says he's down. Well, well, well. Yan must be having a good time with this one, because he's offered a best of 7 instead of 5. We did say 5 before the match. And both players agreed, so, I mean, I'm not saying that this is disallowed or anything. I simply want to point out that Yan didn't have to do this. He could have taken the dub. That is very, very interesting. I mean, I'm not surprised to see Yan, you know, throwing down the gauntlet. He is such a confident player. So this doesn't surprise me from that aspect at all. But the reason I am, you know, curious about this is I'm just thinking to myself, is Yan trying to get, you know, more practice against aZapatos style? And I mean, straight away, we've got another example of Yan just deliberately getting bumped to win a kickoff. Look at that. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. He wants, I think he just wants, yeah, more practice against this, if I had to guess. These are great games. Yan up 3-1, but every game's been so interesting. And aZapatos clearly... oh, Yan's own gold. aZapatos clearly fell off just slightly in games 3 and 4 there. I think his... well, his best game, of course, was the game that he won, but I think the first game as well was extremely close. Games 1 and 2 were both knife edge, and then it's games 3 and 4 where aZapatos wasn't quite as consistent, and Yan opened up the scorelines a little bit more. So aZapatos can, I think, try and be a little bit more careful with his ground dribble setups. I think he'll be able to go toe-to-toe with Yan again. And I'm speaking more to the fact that some of his ground dribbles at the end of the game, and well, particularly in game 4, they were just not quite dangerous enough. I think Yan was just comfortable defending them from those angles. If aZapatos can use his car control that he does have, start to incorporate a bit more of an angle into his attack, then I think he's going to be unstoppable. I mean, how on earth are you supposed to read the Sentio when it's coming at you with 100 boost and a ball carry? Nice rebound there by aZapatos. He's got a 3-goal lead for himself here, so okay. Yan, remember, he did say best of 7. He didn't suggest that they go one more game. He said best of 7, so there is a chance that aZapatos can win the series here. He's just got to... all he's got to do is win 3 in a row against Yan. No big deal. And now we get to see Yan from behind, and of course that makes sure that we're going to get as much aggression as possible, and as if there is ever any need for Yan to go more aggressive. Sorry for skipping the replay, but that's just normal for Yan. It's just standard goal for Yan. We'll probably see a better one, don't worry. Furia Chase, thanks for the 2-month tier 1. Welcome back to the channel, Furia Chase. The boys, yeah, the boys are doing well today. Card dominated earlier, and now Yan is beating a very dangerous opponent. Actually watching aZapatos again just to show how consistent he is with those landings. I mean, he's flying into the ground there off of a goal explosion, and he's able to, like, not just set up the wave dash, but he's able to aim the wave dash. He's actually choosing which way he wants the car to rock up, and which way he wants to be able to gain a boost of speed towards. It's really quite phenomenal to witness. Well, Yan has tied it though. I think aZapatos got a little bit too careless here after getting a 3-goal lead. A little bit too careless with his possession. He should be treating every single possession play that he gets right now as if it's the last one he's ever going to get. That's the only way that you should play against any of the top players in the world, and definitely the only way that you should play against a player like Yan, because every possession he gets is going to be dangerous. It could be a play that he scores off. So if you're in control of the ball, definitely don't give it away for free. Yan again just walks on in. And yeah, I don't think Yan's going to be too chuffed with how these goals are happening. I don't think he wants to score counter-attack goals against aZapatos, but he'll take it. He'll take it. Yeah, I think Yan is just showing everybody today that, oh dear, not outscoring open net, but I think he's showing everybody that you can match up with aZapatos wave dash recovery kickoff. even without using anything fancy of your own, you can just play very, very solid. Hello? Did the players agree to miss open nets when I wasn't watching? What am I witnessing right now? did they say anything? Did they message each other in Steam? Let's just miss some open nets for memes. Didn't write anything in chat, at least. Big change of direction there from aZapatos in the dribbling approach, but not quite enough pace in the shot. Yeah, I'm just darting into the corner. He's got a lot more boost to work with, and I think aZapatos realizes, even now, I think aZapatos might be underestimating just what Yan is capable of, even after playing against him for 4 games. But there we go, aZapatos will get one flick to go over the top of Yan and into the net. Let's see just how he did that one. Perfect technique. He doesn't even need to cleanly connect with it when he's in the Sensio. I mean, Octane player with that kind of connection, I don't think it would go as far, because you're just not getting that last touch on the ball with the shorter hitbox. A beautiful landing dash from aZapatos. Chips the ball up in the air with a wave dash in the wall, and now here he goes with the air dribble. Last second touch will threaten the high shot. Yan clears it, lands well, and scores to go back up by 1. You've got to do better. It's again, I'm gonna keep saying it, because it is, I think, the next thing aZapatos has got to ensure. He absolutely has to ensure that this happens with every attack that he makes. He's got to force Yan to be compromised with his landing. That is the minimum you can get. The best case scenario, of course, you're scoring, but next best is you have to make the shot. You got to make the flick good enough to force Yan out of position and to give yourself a chance of defending the counter attack. Because Yan's recoveries are so quick that if you just shoot the ball top corner and then think that that's going to be enough, it probably isn't. He's probably just going to save it, land, score. I mean, a lot of the top guys these days are doing that. Look at this from Yan. He's known first and foremost as an aggressive player, as an offensive master, and not so much for his defense. But I think towards the end of the last RLCS season, it really started to show the world that he is like an S-class defender as well. I'm getting some frame drops in game right now, by the way, if you guys were wondering. That's not actually Twitch, that's Rocket League for some reason. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but I can see those as well. Oh, ceiling pinch from aZapatos, dips in, and what a way to equalize inside the final minute. Oh, he's not even ceiling pinched, he just shoots it. Okay, bounced off the ceiling. I thought he might have ceiling pinched that one. That would have been pretty crazy from that range. Yan, of course, turning early because he can. aZapatos actually forced to land poorly. I mean, that's what he needs to be doing to Yan. He's got to force Yan to land on the inside of the post, force him to land inside his own net. Yan doing it there with a simple shot. Even though he didn't have boost after the kickoff, still able to get threatening shots off. Oh, aZapatos has missed another open net. Yan just gifted it to him. Second open net miss of the game. And he just wasn't expecting it. He wasn't ready for it. Now Yan is on the breakaway. Looking for the demo, but aZapatos quickly accelerates away from it. Can he get the winning goal here? Yes, he can. Well, certainly the leading goal. Maybe not the winning goal just yet. Yan a bit too all in for the demo. Dangerously dipped into the corner to grab the boost. And he gets punished for it. Back corner possession play for Yan. aZapatos is going to go for this one. He wins game 5. And okay, will Yan live to regret the call for best of 7? I mean, he didn't do it because he wanted to, you know, I really don't think he did it because he wanted to body aZapatos. I wasn't getting the vibe that he was like, yeah, let me just crush this guy. I really don't think that it was that. Sometimes it is with pro players and with 1v1 players. They're just like, nah, I'm not happy with how close these games are. I want to destroy him. Let's go again. But I didn't get that impression. It looks like, from if I had to guess, that Yan just enjoying the games and still trying to figure out how to best counter aZapatos' style. Well, he didn't get it right that time. Yan, I mean, if there's one thing that he doesn't get perfectly right, pretty much every series I see him play, it's just knowing where the limit is. You know, Yan is as good as he is because he plays like he doesn't have a limit, but every player has a limit. Every attack has a limit of, like, you know, how much risk should you put into this attack before it's just not worth it, because the risk massively outweighs the reward. You know, for Yan, the risk is almost never too high. as you're witnessing here. But even he has a limit, and I think, you know, finding that limit is something he doesn't always get right. He's gone a bit too all in on a few plays, and he has been punished. But you could say the same thing for aZapatos. I think they've both been limit testing in this matchup, really trying to push themselves to the limits of what they are capable of. Fantastic pre-jump by aZapatos there. Deny Yan the early 2-goal lead. I say early, it would have been just about a minute into the game. It's a fantastic challenge by Yan, though. He knew exactly what to do there. Hasn't lost out on the race to the boost, though. aZapatos takes it away from him. He gets going with just a little bit of an angle in the dribble there. I would like to see more, still, from aZapatos. He likes to go with just a tiny angle in his approach. Like I said before, I just want to see him open up that angle a bit more, give himself more options, because, you know, he's capable of scoring from these angles. He's capable of scoring with just a little bit of an angle to work with, but why force yourself to play the perfect flick when you could just play with a little bit more of an angle in the approach, and now there's a wider range of connections that will actually result in a goal being scored. Yan there trying to get a demo as aZapatos exited his half, and again Yan just trying to drive straight through the challenge and maybe pick up aZapatos at the tail end of it. That's not something that Yan's ever going to have too much trouble with. Overhead clears are something that come naturally to all the top threes players in the world. Yan, certainly one of them. And that's another great pre-jump from aZapatos, not for the first time this game. He's correctly predicted exactly where Yan is planning to go. I think he might have snuck one past him. Yan's trying to counter-attack off the back of this. It didn't go quickly enough into the goal. aZapatos will be glad to see that Yan couldn't turn it around quickly enough to threaten the counter. He's too early for the boost grab. Yan way too early there. aZapatos will tie just past halftime as Yan completely mistimes the boost respawning. I mean, he kind of darted back into the corner here. Looked like he wanted the 100 boost, but it wasn't even close to respawning yet. It was just, I think maybe 6 or 7 seconds ago that he had picked it up. Fake kickoff for aZapatos. Free flip, attempting to outplay Yan, and he gets completely denied. Yan crushes him. I think aZapatos just took a bit too long there. It was a very slow and very methodical setup for the pre-flip, but Yan was charging in the entire time, closing the distance. Yan decides not to play the ball, and aZapatos would do so. And for another backwall demo, it's definitely a lot of aggression being prioritized by Yan in Game 6. aZapatos having to just take those bumps and hope that they don't do too much damage to him, but they have. His recovery was hindered, and Yan's up 3-1. Yeah, you'll notice aZapatos there not jumping. He doesn't want to jump and then turn one of those bumps from Yan into a huge full send into the halfway line. He just had to accept the fact that he's getting bumped sideways there and hope that when he does eventually get bumped that he can dodge out of it. That's a beautiful angle there from aZapatos, but even this just isn't forcing Yan to compromise his defensive positioning at all. Just amazing to see Yan continually land so cleanly inside, or not inside, outside I should say, of his own net. An effortless transition from defense to attack once again from the Brazilian. aZapatos just trying desperately with every attack to force Yan to land inside the net, and it's just to no avail. Yan just too quick. You know, if his car, if his Rocket League car was an animal, it would 100% be a cat, because it always lands on his wheels. Yeah, I've never seen this guy struggle with his recoveries. He's so clean with it. One of those players who just every single recovery is perfect. Look out, aZapatos. That's going to be a tough one. No pre-jump saving this one. Yan goes up 5-1 with a double reset. Absolute boom into the top shelf. So clean. He just knows exactly what he wants to do with every aerial attack. No matter what position you put him in, he's got options. Yan about to complete the full sweep. Every South American player that we've had on stream tonight, 3 in a row, about to be victorious. It was 3-0 card over GOM, and 3-1 Raise Bull over CRR. Now Mexico's aZapatos unable to battle with the South American. Can Yan get a 7th goal here? You know, I said earlier on that I don't think he wanted to go back and go again for a best of 7 just for the chance to try and demolish Azapatos in one of these games, but that's exactly what he's doing here. He's showing that, you know, Azapatos is close to that level, but he's not there yet. Well, Yan, he's not going to score an open net for the 7th goal. He wants something a little bit more special. And with one little reset, I'll do it. It's still an open net, but he wanted a elaborate setup at least. Azapatos tried to cut him off with the flying pinch, but it wasn't meant to be. Azapatos says we can call it here if you guys want. He's saying GG's. It's up to him. He's saying GG's there, so I'll say GG's. Of course, you can call it anytime. You know, some people are like, oh no, not a forfeit, but 1v1 games tend to have things like this incorporated in them, because at some point you just know, yeah, there's no coming back here. It's actually just not possible. It is actually just not possible. In situations where you've been forced to go all in and your opponent has just racked up the score even more. GG's, Yan, unbelievable, as expected. Azapatos, incredibly impressive, also as expected, but great to see all the same. What an interesting playstyle, what an interesting player. That's going to do it for our show matches tonight. Yan's just going to freestyle out the remaining few seconds here. You know, Yan, we were talking earlier on about how his style is pretty much just free play with an opponent there. He's just one of those types of players who just does his own thing and he doesn't really care what his opponent's doing. Similar to Jory is back in the day. Even Jory is currently still playstyle wise, maybe not as dominant as he once was, but still playstyle wise, just free plays and doesn't really care about the opponent. But you know, Yan right now might not have even realized, oh no, he did say GG's, but I'm saying he might not have even noticed any difference. I'm not saying this to disrespect Azapatos in any way, but at the end of the game there, Yan's probably just continued to score goals and he's thinking to himself, oh wait, did he stop playing? Yeah, sorry, I was just so like focused on what I'm doing that I didn't even notice. Like he's just doing his own thing as usually, just scoring goals. Doesn't really matter if there's a goalkeeper there or not. So you might not have even. Nah, of course I'm joking. Of course he noticed. But yeah, GG's. Yan is ridiculous, and South America undefeated, 3 straight wins against Europe and North America combined.